Welcome to the Beau Radio Show, the show about mindset and self-development. Before we dive into this episode, I want you to know that this is a safe space. Safe place. This is a place where you can be completely open and honest with yourself. This is a place for everyone. No matter what race, what age, what gender, what sexuality, this is a place to grow, to improve yourself, and to get to know to get to know yourself a little bit better. I'll be pure, I'll be authentic, I'll be me. And if we don't vibe, that's how it is. And if we do vibe, that's awesome. So let's go. I'm here to serve you. I'm here to help you. Here to guide you to improve yourself and become a better version of yourself. And that's why I won't be only sticking to topics like negative self-talk or healing or growing or entrepreneurship. I'll be also answering your questions. So I will be adjusting my podcast, my videos to your preferences. So things that you need to hear. So feel free to send me some questions. You can reach me on Twitter, Clubhouse, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, if you must, Pinterest. And my username is the same everywhere. It's Beau Semil, my name and my last name. I'll spell it out for you. Beausamil. Beau Semil. Well, that's settled. Let's dive into this episode. Let's start by telling you why I stopped uploading. Because it's been a while. I wasn't in a good state of mind. I was prioritizing other things, like school and TikTok. And I don't want you to think that I don't, I think that prioritizing school is a bad thing, because I don't. I was using it as an excuse to not create content, even though I love creating content. And it's also... it's not that I didn't have time, I didn't make time. And that's another excuse. But there's something else. I felt like my message or my experiences were useless. That I couldn't help you or anyone. I was asking myself questions like, who am I to try and teach people how to improve themselves? Who am I to try and coach people? And I felt like I didn't matter. I felt like I was better off just focusing on school, graduate, go to college, keep my head down, do what I thought that I was supposed to do, and, not dream big. Just, be mediocre. So I felt a bit sad, or lost, or even defeated. But at that time I was still doing the 75 hard. For people who are not familiar with that, the 75 hard is a program created by Andy Frisella, and it has like 6 or 7 pillars, I'm not sure. You gotta do 2 workouts. One must be outdoors, 45-minute workouts. You must drink a gallon of water. I didn't drink a gallon every day because, as you can see, I'm really skinny, so a gallon would not benefit my body. But I drank like 2-3 liters of water a day. I don't know gallons and liters. I'm from Europe, so I'm sorry. And that's not all. I had to stick to a diet and read 10 pages a day. 10 pages of self-help book. So I was doing that and growing, I thought. But at the same time, I felt pretty bad. I was doing good things, but I still felt pretty bad. But at one time, I'm sorry, hay fever, it clicked. Imagine, from 40 million or even 1.2 billion, I recently read, sperm cells, I was formed. And to me, that's no coincidence. And I think that I'm here for a reason, and so are you. And maybe you don't know your reason of being yet, and that's okay. Please don't rush into, finding your purpose. I did that, and I don't recommend it, because I thought that I would only be happy if I was acting or living in line with my purpose. So I let my happiness depend on something else. I wasn't creating my own happiness. I expected external factors to create happiness for me. And that's not how it works. And maybe you're doing the same thing. You think that you can only be happy if you get attention from your partner, or affection from your partner, love from your partner, or love from your parents, or parents, from friends, or only when you get good grades or getting a promotion at work. But does chasing these things make you happy? Or are you still a little bit unsatisfied, even though you get the promotion, even though you get those good grades, because there's something else, something deeper? And I know from personal experience that answering these questions might be scary or frightening. But I think it's important to ask yourself these questions, and I'm not going to force you to do it, but, slowly, gently, just think about it a little bit. Time after time, step by step, no rush. There's another question in the same line, and that's the following. What's holding me back from reaching my goals? To answer that question, you need to have goals. And I can create a whole nother episode on how to set goals, and I'm going to do a free workshop on how to set goals, so check out my socials. The info will be there. But I will give you just a few tips now. Okay, let's go. Sorry. The first one, and I've heard it a lot, and I absolutely love it, and I think it's really, really, really important. Dream like you're a child. Like you're 4 years old. And you still think that everything is possible, because I know when we get older, we're like, that's not really a realistic goal for me to set. But, when you're setting goals, act like you're a child. Dream like you're a child. No restrictions, no doubts. Just write down whatever pops in your head. And another one, which I also love, don't be afraid to think big. Don't write down that you want, to have a Volkswagen. I can pronounce it in English. We just say Volkswagen, or yeah, you know what I mean. If you actually want a Lamborghini. So don't write down that you want a Volkswagen if you actually want a Lamborghini. Write down that you want that damn Lamborghini. Write down what type of Lamborghini you want, how much money it costs, and how you're going to save or earn enough money to buy that car. So we dove a little bit into how to set goals and what to keep in mind when setting goals. But now let's get back to the question we asked ourselves prior to this. Sorry. So what's holding me back from my goals? And this is a question that a lot of mindset coaches or high performance coaches ask their listeners or clients or readers or whatever. And I asked myself this question. So I'm going to take you into my personal experience to understand what is going on, and I hope that you can, relate to it and learn from it. So let's go. The things that were holding me back were my limiting beliefs, bad habits, and limiting thoughts. Things I learned from my upbringing. So let's dive into that. I spend a lot of time on my phone. I think it's less than the average 19-year-old, but it still makes me feel uneasy because I have the feeling that I could do, more useful things. And I have difficulties with being open to people. I have difficulties sharing my thoughts and my emotions. I'm afraid that people will misunderstand me and my intentions because the way I learned to communicate from, our household is quite directly and very straight to the point. That's also why this podcast was called Straight to the Point at first. Another reason why I find it hard to share my thoughts and emotions is because I felt like my emotion and thoughts didn't really matter. My parents, especially my father, often told me to toughen up, keep walking, and don't show pain, just go, walk. No matter how much pain you got, just go, and I must say, and this is really important, I don't blame him for that. Because it's just a limiting belief he created for himself and then learned me because he thought that he was doing the right thing, you know. But over the years, and this makes me sound old, I'm not that old, but you know, over the years I learned that shutting your mouth and just push yourself isn't how you want to deal with difficulties in life. Because you won't grow. You'll just walk until you can't walk no more because the pain's too bad. You need to reflect on yourself and the situation you're in. You need to examine your feelings and emotions. That's how you grow. Mentally. Not acknowledging your emotions or your thoughts will only keep you small. And I know that you don't want to be small your entire life. Because otherwise you wouldn't be listening to this podcast. And it took me a long time to share my thoughts and talk about my emotions. And I'm still no star in sharing. It takes time. It's actually one of my affirmations. So I try to, print it in my mind every day. That I'm open to share my experiences with you. So you can learn from them. So I said earlier, it takes time. So please don't set a goal and expect yourself to reach it the next day. No personal, physical, financial, business, relationship, or any goal must be achieved the next day. I recently heard a quote from Dine Vries, and he said, "The goal is not to get to your 10-year plan by tomorrow. It takes time to get there. It takes time to heal. It takes time to grow." And believe me, because I know how fucking frustrating it is when you don't see any progress for a while. And growth isn't something that happens like this, in a straight line. It's more exponentially. Some days you grow fast and hard, and some days you don't. So it's a bit like this. Or you won't grow for a long time, and then your growth will skyrocket. But don't give up. No matter how you grow, if it's like this or like this or, don't give up. And I kind of dropped a little hints before, but it reminds me of an illustration a friend of mine recently talked to. So Ruben, thank you. If you're listening, thank you for, reminding me of this. It's about bamboo or bamboo plant. I thought it was Chinese bamboo in particular. We all know what bamboo looks like, okay? It's this green, creamy plant, very long and very strong. But do you know how long it takes for bamboo to grow? Have you ever thought about that? It takes around 7 years before you see a tiny part of bamboo years. 7 years. 7 years. But what do you think that happens in those 7 years? Because it's not nothing. The root system of the plant is growing like crazy. It's growing because that way it can feed and hold into this big ass bamboo plant that's growing. So what's the lesson in this illustration? Actually, 2 things. It takes time to grow. I said it before, but I'll keep saying it because it's hard for people, including me, to comprehend that. It takes time to grow. It takes time to heal as well. And you might not always see the growth that's happening. That's number 2. But that doesn't mean you're not growing. So don't get mad, don't quit, be patient, reflect on yourself and celebrate every day that you win. This is where I wanted to end today's episode. And I hope that I gave you some perspective on healing and growing and how it works. Even for someone who coaches other people to become better. There's this quote. I love quotes. I already dropped like 5 in this episode. But I want to share this one with you as well. The best teachers are still learning and the best healers are still healing.